Hey Sales World, writing and structuring a cold email sequence, it can be really challenging and takes a long time to master. So in this video today, what I'm going to do is show you how to structure the right framework for a cold email sequence. For those of you who may not know what a sequence is, it's a series of emails sent over a number of days that are designed solely to get you to a conversation. So I'm Gavin Tye. Check out my website, Sales Market Fit, for heaps of free content. Let's get into it. Okay, so to start writing a good sales sequence, we first need to understand what a bad sequence looks like. So what I've done here is I've taken an actual lead generation email that I've gotten for someone as an example. So first and foremost, if we look at the first part, there is no personalization. You can tell easily that it's a generic email. And secondly, the main character in this email is the person writing the email. And we can tell that by how many I's they've written here. I work for a leading software company. I would like to set up. I think we could. I'm confident. Now, thinking that people act in their own self-interest, we need to frame the message for the person on the other side of the email receiving it. So again, there is no explanation of the problem that they solve or demonstrating domain expertise. So me reading this, I clearly got the sense that I was one of maybe 100 or 200 in the sequence. So there was definitely no personalization that was meant for me. And as a result, I was not interested at all. Now, interestingly, it's not easy to read, as it's come in one form of one big paragraph, and that really puts readers off as well. And also, this is what 85% of lead generation emails look like. So if you are sending lead generation emails, go and have a look and seeing if you're following something similar to this. So let's get into what a good structure looks like. So let's look at this outreach sequence. So I've used this exact sequence in my role as an enterprise SaaS salesperson to generate conversation to close multi-million-dollar deals. So this message is outcome focused. It's designed to spark the interest of the person reading the email. Now, this cadence will run over 20 plus days, and the response rate, industry average, is about 9%. So we're aiming for more than that, but a 9% response rate is a good place to start. In this particular cadence, I've got response rates of anywhere from 15 to over 20%. And the goal in this sequence is to get to a conversation. That's the only goal, is to get off email onto a phone call or some other medium of communication, because there's no chance of closing a large deal or a B2B deal if you're doing it by email. We need to start creating a one-on-one relationship. So let's look at the structure. So the subject line, you can test this in your own business, but really the subject line for me is mostly about introducing myself. I want them to see me as a person and not as a business. Also, I have a personalization on the hello. Also, I will always use a polite opening. That's how we talk to each other in real life. And I want to continue that and show that I'm polite, customer service orientated, instead of just getting into it and potentially breaking rapport. In this first paragraph, I want to ensure that they keep reading past that. So I want to provide credibility. We are a growing technology company. We work with company 1, 2, and 3 to improve safety. Now, the next stage here is I want to demonstrate domain expertise. I want to show them specifically I'm reaching out to them in this industry because I know the specific problems. I want to try and build rapport, or at least spark interest in them having a conversation. So the next sentence here is, I want to demonstrate an outcome focus. A key outcome here, among many others, is a step change in productivity and risk reduction. Drivers of B2B are mainly around revenue generation, productivity increases, or risk reduction. And I want to focus on that for the particular person reading the email. And then finally, I have a call to action. Now, a few things to note here. A lead generation email should be less than 200 to 250 words. Ideally, in this scenario, it is 147. Moving on to the second email. So the second email, I don't want to introduce any new information. I merely want to prompt them about the first email. because sometimes they're busy. Sometimes they're doing other things. They could be running in between meetings. They could be doing something with their family. And I just want to prompt them to say, hey, I did send you an email last week. I want to make sure I float this to the top of your inbox and give them a chance to reply. Now, in a sequence, often the first email, you won't get the reply. It's the second, third, and fourth follow-ups that you will get the majority of your responses. And that can create a bit of angst in your world waiting for those second and third emails to go out. So this email is basically just want to float this to the top of your inbox, and I'll leave it at that. I schedule it 4 days apart because anything over 5, skipping the weekends, is a week, and I don't want to run the risk of them forgetting it. And anything less than 3, in my view, could be pushy, and I don't want to be pushy. But again, you make this call for your business, and whatever works in your market, you just adapt. That makes sense for you. Moving on to email 3. Again, I don't want to introduce any new information. I just want to prompt steps 1 and 2, but I want to add in a call to action. Would you be open to a call next week? And again, 4 days apart, following that same formula. The next one is I want to start introducing some more information. They haven't replied. I want to maybe prompt them with a case study or a customer testimonial or an anecdote, just to try to spark that interest and see if I can get them to reply. Even this way is I'm asking them what is the best way to engage. And maybe they're not the right person. So I'm just asking them to engage with me a little more. And then I'll move on to the 5th. So step 5 in this scenario is connecting on LinkedIn, or maybe giving them a call if you have that ability to find their contact details. Now, if you're doing this often and doing consistent effort, you should be able to iterate and increase your response rate from, maybe you start out at 4 or 5%, but then you increase slightly and adapt this to what makes sense for your market. Now, also down below here is the platforms that you can use for sequences if you don't have that in your business as well. So I hope that helped. I would love to know how you're going with your sequences. Is this making a difference? If you wouldn't mind subscribing, I'll be releasing new content regularly, and I hope to see you soon.